Big up, everybody. It's your boy, Mark, and MUFC fan. Really apologies for why I'm late. I had to wait for the ambulance to leave, guys. It was super loud. You would not hear anything I was saying, so it didn't make sense. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I don't have a studio yet. Working on that. But big up to each and everyone joining us. There's a lot to talk about. Of course, Brian and Burmo, the top news. Medical is scheduled. Let's see what's going on with that. So, second player on the way. I've got my buddy Bally Tech as well coming in. Big up to Fred the Red with some big news. Fred, I'm going to bring in those comments in a little bit. First, we're going to talk about some pressing issues. I want to hear your questions. I want to hear your opinions because there's a Premier League rule. Not only that, but we need to explore and I need to find out from you guys what is happening. What is going on with Man United? Do you think Man United is getting the best possible signings? Is the scouting suggestions and the manager suggestions meeting in the middle in the perfect way with who we currently signed and who we're looking at? Let me know what your thoughts are again on that. But let's get to the chase, guys. And I brought it up for you guys. I'm going to bring it in. So let's talk about this the new Premier League rule. It's an interesting situation. And it's one of those things where it's kind of frustrating. But let's talk about the proposed rule as it's here, guys, right? So the proposed rule is that the Premier League is considering implementing a debt rule where clubs exceeding 500 million in debt would be subject to a relegation unless the ownership is changed within 6 months. That sounds like a lot to talk about. But at the same time, is it realistic? You know, a lot of United fans would be sitting here thinking, this could be our way to freedom. But is that really the key? We will talk about that, guys, because let me get through all of this so you actually know everything that's going on right now. And the purpose of this rule, guys, it aims to address, you know, the concerns about unsustainable debt levels among clubs and promote a responsible financial management and future for clubs in the Premier League going on from today. And this consequence, if a club fails to address its depth situation within the allotted time, it will be relegated to a lower division, likely the championship in the English system. That is very interesting, guys. And to be fair, like there's a lot of reasons why these things are happening, guys, because it could have significant impact on the clubs. And this impact and consequences clubs with high levels of debt potentially forcing them to seek new ownership or restructure their finances to avoid relegation. Guys, we've seen Man United taking an extreme situation in what they are doing with how they sack so much players and all these sorts of things, guys, because they've been getting some inspiration from France. And the funny thing is that I had it right here, and it was talking about Olympic Lyon. 1 second, 1 second. Let me just pull this up really quickly. Yeah. The proposal is reportedly inspired by a similar rule in French football, specifically referencing the situation that's taking place right now with Olympic Lyon, who have just been relegated to the second division of French football, even after finishing in the top four. They should have Champions League next season, but they're playing in the second division. Someone else is playing in the Champions League in their stead. And it looks like Sir Jim's other club is definitely going to get Europa League now. So it's an interesting situation, guys. A very interesting situation. And what I'm saying, what I can tell you right now is that the ongoing discussions are still going on as we speak. The proposed rule is still under discussion and it remains to be seen if it will be officially adopted now, guys. All Premier League clubs have a certain amount of, dare I say, investment into the Premier League as they broke away from the previous league system to form this new Premier League. So it's going to be interesting to see if this really happens because one of the clubs that I know fans like myself will be excited for this rule. Well, we're one of the most influential investors, if you know what I mean. So it's going to be an interesting situation, but we'll get on to that in a little bit. I got my brother coming in the background. Big up to Bali Tech in the building. Let's talk about this. Fred's opinion on this. No joke, folks. Look it up and confirm it's the drag along clause, which kicks in the next. In August 24th, 18 months after Ineos purchased the minority shares on Xmas Eve, the shares to buy Man United were frozen. 100% Fred. So let me explain what Fred is talking about, guys, because Fred was talking in the chat earlier on. He said it won't come into force. Most businesses are purchased through leverage debt with the exemption of state ownership like City, Newcastle, and PSG. It's a way of stopping Sheikh Yassim buying us. Interesting situation. Interesting. On August 24th, there's a clause in Ineos contract that will allow prospective buyers to purchase Man United in full, calling the drag along clause, but they must have proof of finances to purchase the club. That looks like it makes room for Sheikh Jassim to come in and get everything he wants, just like he wanted, guys. Big up to your friend Devro in the building. That's a big likeness there, bro. Big up to you. Thanks for that. Now, our fans' opinion so far is that the death rule is kind of stupid. I don't think he likes it. This is a business, not a farm. When it's Mumbremo Medical, and lastly, from my side, 9 million release clause for Ndidi is a no-brainer. Ndidi, bro. I mean, I don't mind Ndidi. I think he's an interesting player. I believe the medical is on Friday. There are some reports that it could be tomorrow, but I believe it will be on Friday. So that is my response to that. Big up to Fred the Red in the building. Big up to everyone coming in. Big up to Fred again. Fred Kingdom FC. Big up. Long time no see, broski. Hope you're well. I see Bali's in the building. Let's get to talking about some transfers. Of course, we're gonna ask him his opinion on what we just talked about as well. But first, I gotta bring him in. Gotta add myself.
Yo, 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 yo. Big up to everyone in the chat. Yeah, nothing much, man. Big up to everyone in the chat. Have no fear, Bally Tech is here. Big up to Fred. Big up to Earthfan. Big up to Madhouse. I see you. Big up to Kingdom. Let's talk football. What's going on?
Chilling, bro. But as you know, there's a lot to discuss as because of the situation at hand. Also, of course, you know that you know
Yo, sometimes we have technical difficulties on streams. Just bear with us.
this new scene here. Yeah, I know, bro. Like it didn't the settings didn't hold.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to fix it live right now, which I don't really like to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's all right, bro.
Uh, and everything is be moving, bro, when you're touching this thing sometimes on the phone. So, all right, cool. Big up, bro. So, we was talking about it. I brought up the comments there. Everyone was able to see, big up to my house in the building, big up to my house, big up to Rikal coming in as well. I talked about the basic ideology behind this new proposed rule by the Premier League. Of course, we'll talk about Brian and Bremo's scheduled medical should be in the next 24 to 48 hours as reported. That's a definite plus. I think that gets me a little bit excited now. I wasn't truly excited by the signing of Cunha, and everybody knows this. I've said it many times. But, with Bremo, he's a player that I appreciate for a long time, a consistent player who gives his best, great engine. very good decision making, very intelligent on the ball, and all the good stuff. Now, what are your thoughts before we go into all the transfer talk? Just give me your views on the situation with this new rule that the Premier League are adopting, because we spoke about it a little bit earlier. So just let the chat hear what you think.
Um, I think that if the rule is in place, then yeah, it's good for us. But then I fear that the Glazers, they could have sold this club years ago, and they've tried to drain every single last penny out of this club. Now, me personally, I believe they've made more than enough money out of this club. So at the end of the day, if they were to take the club through relegations, it's no skin off their nose, because in their head they're probably thinking that people still want to play for Man United regardless of relegation or not. So maybe we won't be able to attract the best of the best players, but I wouldn't be surprised if you have players that want to drop down a league from, I don't know, let's say they relegate us to like League One or something. I wouldn't be surprised if we got players from Championship that want to drop down one league to bring Man United back up. So on that stance, it puts us in a sticky situation. I don't want to see the club getting relegated by funny rules. But at the end of the day, we've got owners that are just sucking the club dry. They've been sucking the club dry for a long time, pause. And yeah, like they've just been getting a lot of freebies, you know. They're kind of like that woman that don't really like you, but they're taking all your money. Do you know what I mean? And I know too many men have had experience with those type of people.
Big up, bro. I mean, I don't know what you mean, but I feel what you're saying because I've seen some brothers experience some tragic situations, and being a United fan and a Trinidad fan, football in the last decade, 15 years has been a tragic situation. It hasn't been that progression that we expected after the greatness that we've achieved. You know what I mean? Trinidad going to their first World Cup, United winning the treble, winning that second Champions League, Ronaldo leaving, Alex Ferguson winning our next Premier League and then retiring, and no progression. It has been up and down all around, but not a forward direction going around for the club. So it's one of those things where it could be disappointed as a fan, frustrated. A lot of fans in here spend a lot of money going to games, traveling from wherever they still live. The dream is always to go and visit Old Trafford, all these sorts of things. And we have a bunch of owners and players and board members that doing a bunch of crazy things on all accounts. But technically, we only could blame the ones we could see. So all our directions will be focused that solely on the manager and the players. And well, by extension, we'll talk about the Glazers who own the club and any us because as much as I hate them blood sucking vampires, yeah. They get a blood sucking ultra vampire to come and join them, no. Because I won't lie, people. Since this brother has come, we have been embarrassed. We have been thrown through the mud. And we have done things that doesn't seem like a big club does for the last 18 months. The entire tenure of that minority share ownership has been, how dare I say it, abysmal. You know, hopefully with this summer in hand, the fate that they decide to place in Amarim, they will bear fruit going forward. And guys, let's not mistake anything. This season is not going to be a cakewalk. The first 10 games is a difficult situation. Let's not try to get overheated and overexcited. I mean, I'm not saying we signing Embremo doesn't improve us by 15, 20 goals. I'm not saying signing Cunha doesn't improve us by 10 goals. I'm not saying, if we get a top striker, it doesn't improve us by another 15 to 25 goals. I'm not saying that. But at the end of the day, we can have all these theories and the reality could bite us. So, we need to take this in a situation where we have to go. I feel like we need to be patient, and at the end of the window, then we should, confirm our sense of excitement and hope for the new season because We cannot let these owners off with rubbish. The ticket prices have gone through the roof. It's £128 a ticket right now, guys. You know what I mean? And that was like, hey, it would have been 60, £70 last season. And we don't even have Champions League. You know what I mean? So it's a frustrating time. But on to Brian and Bremo. Brian and Bremo, 60 plus 10 is the deal. As reported, 60 million guaranteed, 10 million in add-ons, five almost easily achievable. The other five, let's just say it's quite difficult. It's going to be a 5-year payment plan for Manchester United. Of course, we have been trying to take players on layaway for the longest time. We paid on a portion, and every year we'll pay an installment. It's how it goes with hire purchase. I hope everyone knows these rules. It's like when you purchase a car. You pay a down payment, and every month you pay the bank or your financial institution. It's the same sort of thing. Now, Brandon Bremer is scheduled to have a medical within the next 48 hours. I would expect it to begin on Friday morning around 8 to 10 a.m. in the morning and be concluded by midday around 1 p.m. I don't know about you guys, but this signing does excite me. Of course, we're paying a top dollar for a player who should have 5 more years for that quality for Man United. He should be entering his prime in this current moment, if not, dare I say, being able to still probably go a level higher in performance. Now, what are your thoughts on this, my brother? I know we talked a lot about the different signings, but where do you think the signing of Cunha and Embremo fall in terms of the negotiation, or when I say negotiation, I mean the discussion between the club and the manager? Of course, there's been a lot of talk in the last 18 months about the club signing players for the club's project and the head coach or manager just coaching these players to play the style or whatever is they are expected to do to bring victory to Manchester United. What are your thoughts, bro?
I believe the whole club signing stuff is just a fugazi that they sold to the fans, in terms of, oh yeah, we're just gonna do things differently from the previous regime, blah 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 blah. Because I saw it when they decided that they wanted to buy Mazraoui and Delict and some of the other players that they bought, Ten Hag, along with the coaching staff that they sacked after a certain amount of games. So fast forward into this season now, we signed Cunha, and to me, this is just you're signing, no disrespect, but you're signing a player that can speak in the manager's native tongue. So to me, it's like you're just signing who the manager wants, essentially. And I have no issue with that because you brought Ruben Amorim to this club because there's something that you've seen in him that you like. So in regards to Cunha, I think it's a good signing. I believe he can play the system. He plays a similar sort of setup at Wolves. And I believe if the manager wants him to give him what he was giving him at Wolves and bring that to Old Trafford, I believe he can do that. In regards to Brian Mbuemo's that person. He's that girl on the dating apps that you want to swipe right on. So obviously we've been waiting for a long time for the signing to come, and now it's looking like we're getting it over the line. And I'm not being funny, but just them two as a pair, oh my God. What a huge set of boobs. We are going to destroy teams next year. We just need a centre forward with a pretty face to cap it off. I know the reason why Mark don't like Cunha in it, because he's a better looking version of Mark in it. These men look similar. He's a better looking version of Mark and a younger version as well.
Oh God. Oh God, no, bro. The man said we get a pair of tits and we looking for a pretty face. Well, bro, I can't tell you, your analogies, bro, they will become classics quick. I mean, I can't really disagree. Like, okay, like, I might not be as excited for Cunha as everyone else. But I am excited in general because I think Brian O'Meara definitely improve us on the right hand side. He's a player who can do the cut back, he can cross well, he can cut in and shoot. You know, he does his thing, and he's a team player first and foremost. And if the team is not there, he can go it alone. So he's a player that I would have liked to have at Old Trafford last season or even before that. And but I didn't know if he was going to be going in for a player like that, to be honest. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting thing for me. It's a prospect that I am looking forward to seeing. Yeah. But I still can't get over imagining what we would be like to have Bruno and Trincao in the middle. You know what I mean? It will be interesting. And we are still in for Rio. You know, the Irfan, don't stress. There are reports stating that Man United have entered discussions with Palmeiras over the youngster, the 25-year-old coming out of, Colombia. It will be interesting to see what happened with that particular signing if it does pull through because, I think he's an interesting type of player, to be honest. You know what I mean? A lot of fans like different types of DMs and stuff like that. But this guy, for me, is like Edison. He's like Edison, but he's a little bit quicker to the ball, in my honest opinion. And he has an eye for goal. He has a good shot on him. Most Colombian players have a good shot. They are good from set pieces as well. The guy does have a good passing range. He accustomed playing very quick football at the feet in Brazil, because that's their style. Coming to the Premier League will be slightly different for him, as well as Trincao, but Trincao has been here before. But however, I think the feistiness of this player Rio makes him an interesting candidate to come into our midfield. He's one of those confident players. He's not afraid to get into the thick of things, and he doesn't take and he said he doesn't take things lightly. He might be a little bit over fiery, to be honest, but I've never seen him get red cards. I've seen him got a couple yellow cards, and I think he would definitely fit in really well in our midfield. It's an interesting one. But there's definitely going to be a lot more time for us to sign some players somewhere to the tune of 6 to 7 weeks before the transfer window is closed. I could be cutting it short slightly by 2 weeks. But yeah, but definitely it's going to be interesting to see what happens and how we progress. It's an interesting time. Manchester United, one game a week, Premier League, no European competition next season. This could be a game-changing season, but we have to be very wary the first 10 games. You know, and the first 10 games is going to be a long situation for Man United. Some fans, may not be happy. Some fans may be happy depending on the start we have. I'm not too sure about it. I haven't really came down to terms with some predictions for those first 10 games. We face the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, and that's just to name those three teams right there. We also face the likes of Chelsea, I believe, in those first 10 games. It's going to be difficult. We could be seeing maybe 50-50, 5 wins, a couple draws and losses, or 5 wins and 5 losses. It could be one of those starts. How is everyone going to feel to that? Bali, what are your thoughts on the first 10 games that we face in the fixture list this season?
Um, the first 10 games, they're most definitely a worry. I mean, the confidence would surely go up if I knew what the rest of our window would look like, because at the end of the day, we can only talk about what's kind of on the table. We know we
Hmm.
got Cunha there. We know Mbuemo is borderline signing. Here we go, probably coming any day now. And really and truly, we know we need a striker. Striker was one of our problem areas last season, as well as goalkeeper, as well as midfield, and even in the wing back area, dare I say. So pretty much all over the pitch. So obviously, a lot of the rumours have indicated that we're going to get a striker, we might get a midfielder, we might get a wing back, we might get a goalkeeper, right?
Yeah.
So if we end up signing people in all those positions, I'll have a bit more confidence with the first 10 games. But I can't lie, Cunha. Just if the window shuts now, we only got Cunha and Mbuemo. we will improve our goal scoring. In the goal scoring department, will definitely improve. However, I still fear for the centre forward. Our centre forwards don't know their ass from their elbow, and the midfield is still not up to my sort of standards in terms of what I would like in the midfield. I think our wing back area, apart from Ahmad playing as a wing back, on the left hand side, I don't really think we've got any top level wing back there. So I think we're just kind of winging it with youngsters again. And then at the back is decent, but I think we could still improve on those areas maybe next season or the season after. And then the goalkeeper is diabolical, in my humble opinion. So hopefully the club can address most of these situations, so we could start the season and I could feel a bit more confident in them 10 games, because you know how it goes. A manager can get sacked within 10 games. He goes on a bad run, the pressure gets put on him, and then all the rival fans start saying, ha ha, you should sack your manager. And then before you know it, it's hammering out, as some fan channels have already started doing. And then before you know it, the manager is sacked. We're getting a new manager mid-season, and then he might come with a new philosophy and a new style. And guess what this club's gonna do? According to this club is not signing players for a manager, they're signing club signings. Yeah. So they're gonna go out and get get players that suit another manager's style. But according to them, all these guys are club signings. So I just think it's another piece of bullshit that they're going to sell us if this were to happen. But I don't
And
really want to think too negative. I want to believe that they're going to do us right, sign the players that we need to sign so we can move forward and bitch slap everyone in the first 10 games.
I hear you, bro. And well, I don't know if you guys know, but three Premier League friendlies before the start of the season: Leeds, West Ham, and Bournemouth. Those games will happen after we play Fulham, I believe. We also play after we play Fiorentina. My mistake. My mistake. Yes. But anyway, talking about the fixture list, it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting situation, as you know, the first 10 games include the likes of, Arsenal, who's our first game. That's going to be an interesting fixture. You know what I mean? It's going to be a tough game. Of course, we are going to be at home. That's the 17th of August. Fulham is next. We got Burnley. Fulham away is next. Burnley at home, Man City away follows that, Chelsea at home, Brentford away, Sunderland at home, Liverpool away, Brighton at home, Nottingham Forest away, and I believe that's our first 10 games.
It's not the greatest set of fixture, is it?
It's not the greatest, but the funniest thing about that, it's home, it's away, it's home, it's away. And to be fair, like, if it's one thing I would say about Amarim, he has won most of his games away this season. You know what I mean? Even in the Premier League, five of the 9 games he's won, it has been away games. So it's an interesting one. We haven't played the best at home in front of the fans. When we just came into the club for the first couple months, our performances in front of the fans seemed super nervous. Even watching the game, for my birthday against Everton, where we won 4-0, was was one of those games where I felt like, yeah, we were still nervous, to start the game off. It wasn't the best. And, it seemed that that was the trend of last season at home in the Premier League, because in the Cups, we were good. We were averaging 3 goals a game in almost in the Cups, in the European Cup last season, and that was interesting. Big up to Ray Carl with the super chat. Baby Lemon with the pom pom in his hand. Cheerleading. Big up to Ray Carl in the building. And when you look at it, you look at the situation is, I see Irfan is saying we could possibly pick up 20 points from 30. That's going to be very interesting because when I look at that fixture list, I see Sunderland, I see Burnley, I see there's three. I see two of the three upcoming teams from the championship, and I say to myself, that's 6 points already. You know what I mean? I see Man City away. We're usually, really good against Man City away. Even last season, Amarim, a game he won, I believe it was 2-1. Ahmad scoring that goal that was voted Premier League goal of the season. It's going to be interesting. I think that's another fixture where, at least a draw is a possibility. Man City has spent over 450 million in the last two windows, so it could be a difficult game as well. Liverpool has spent a lot. They've brought in the likes of Florian Wirtz. They're signing other signings. They're looking to bring in Isak for 200 million pounds. It's going to be a difficult one, and that's Liverpool away. Of course, last season we did not have the joy against Liverpool that we had the season before, they actually didn't beat us the season before. So it's an interesting one. It's a weird one. And
It's weird, but if we beat them with all that money that they've spent, yeah, if we go out and spank that squad, that would be an amazing victory.
it
That
would
will be
be.
talked about for a very long time. So hopefully, none of these players that they have signed acclimatize and they mess up. But more than likely, what's going to happen is it's going to be a long night for the players. It's a long night. Like they've signed phenomenal players, and they're still trying to open that checkbook even more. If should Isak sign for Liverpool, we've already coupled with who they've already signed: Florian
Frimpong,
Wirtz, Frimpong, the other guy, Kirkes.
Milos
Like
Kirkez. Oh,
their
Jesus,
their
Lord.
their their team is looking their team
Vicious.
their team is looking like a woman with a figure eight, mate. I don't want no smoke with them, yeah, because at the end of the day, it's one of them ones where we know that yes, our team is improving and we're a little bit behind the pack, right? We really don't have the capabilities to go out and splash in the fashion that they're splashing in right now. However, it's going to take a good amount of years for us to catch up to what they've just done this summer, especially with City, with what they've spent last January and this summer. It's going to take a while to actually catch up with these men in terms of the quality that they have in and around their team. And I'm pinpointing another probably 3 seasons, 4 seasons for us to be on that sort of par level because it's not like all their players, because once upon a time, all their players were old. And I was thinking, rah, Man United's got this young team. Yeah, so by the time these men get to a certain age, these men will be able to challenge them. Liverpool said, nope, we're signing this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy, this guy, and they've all come. Man City have said, we're signing this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy, they've all come. Now I'm looking at how they've brought the age of the team down. I'm looking at better players around, fitter players around. And I'm like, whoa, when are we going to catch these lot? It's going to take a long time, guys. There has to be a certain level of patience in the fan base before we can catch them. And if we finish 2 or 3 positions higher than the previous year, take that as a semi-win. Although, yes, we want to be winning the league and everything else, you look at what our rivals have gone and done. Our rivals are literally blowing us out the park. And then you got people like Chelsea. That club is just signing all our targets. So it's just, and then we got PSG that's a constant thorn in our side, signing some of the players that should be at United. And So it's gonna be a long battle to get back to the top. But we just gotta be a bit patient. I don't think we need to be patient with individual players, but maybe patient with the team and where we're at because we did finish in 15th and it could have been worse had
Yeah,
certain results gone a different way.
certainly, certainly, bro. To be fair, like listen, yeah. Of course, people don't understand. We was making a 2 year progress over the last 2 seasons, and then we stopped that 2 year progress and we said that when we brought Amarim in. So we are literally we went back to 2022 season. I don't know if you guys following me here, but we went back to 2022. So literally we 2 years behind all these clubs right now. Now, who knows? Who knows? With this one game a week, and somebody said if we were to sign maybe a Gyokeres by luck. We signed Gyokeres at the end of the window. And we in between signing Gyokeres, we sold 2 or 3 players. We brought in a midfielder, brought in a right wing back or a left, brought in an actual left wing back that could do every single thing we need. Not a developmental player, a player who could come to start. Yeah. And we brought in a player like Diamade. Because I keep hearing some rumors that Manchester United are waiting for Sporting to agree a fee with that club, and then they are going to swoop. So I'm hoping, that West Ham agrees a deal because is West Ham I spoke about? Is West Ham? I think it's West
Well,
Ham.
if we're able to, no, it's Crystal Palace, I think.
Crystal Palace. Crystal
If if
Palace. My bad.
if we're able to sign Diamande, that is that will instantly level up the defense, not the goalkeeper, but the defense. Simply because that guy knows how to play as a central centre back. He knows how to distribute the ball. He knows how to step into midfield. Um, and then people like Euro and Delit, they can do the bringing the ball for the carrying, the bringing the ball forward, or Heaven. To be fair, well, some people are going to struggle to get into the team. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that type of competition because a lot of people say, "Oh, but if you sign this man, what about this man?" And we got to get out of the habit of saying, "What about this man?" Fuck that man. Yeah, if that man is not good, once you sign the players, if that man is not good enough to force his way into the team, then he needs to either he needs to work harder and find a way of getting into the team and constantly knock on the manager's door saying, "Is it my turn yet, boss?" Or if he can't handle the smoke because he's seen better players, that his teammates got bigger boobs. That's it. I don't know what to tell you, bro. You might have to find another club with some A cup players around, and you can play alongside them, and you can beat them up, and then force your way into the team like that.
It's
Because
transforming players right now, bro. But I understand. I understand. Everything that's right tonight, boobs. Hey, bro, listen, yeah, they got another analogy, bro. I can't concentrate when you talking about boobs, bro. But anyway,
all right, no problem.
another note. Yeah, it's some interestingly enough, I wanted to ask this question. Yeah, because we kind of pretty much cover everything. But really and truly, yeah, who do you think or what type of which part of the park? Because I want to put the striker on the burner for now because we in that situation when it comes to striker. I'm not interested in talking about Nkunku, yeah, right now. I think that will upset everyone's day, right? But I would like to find out where do we go? There's a lot of interesting players, interesting talents that we can bring into this team for a relatively good fee to replace some of the players that we are selling. The bad wood, the dead wood, the players that we do that Amarim doesn't want. Yeah, we need to replace them. The likes of Garnacho, Rashford, Antony, all of those are attacking players. Why not bring Mason Greenwood back?
I mean, I have no problem with that. He's definitely a phenomenal player, and he'll definitely level up this squad. But him bringing him back will also cause a selection headache. You spend like 60 odd million on Mbuemo. You could even say Cunha as well. You then, I don't know, let's assuming that we bring in the striker Gyokeres. And then now you're looking at a player like Mason Greenwood. You can't play him as a wing back. So it's like, is he going to bench Mbuemo or is he going to bench Cunha? Now, if he plays on his preferred side or the side that he mainly play, then he's benching Mbuemo.
He's the
Now,
player of the left for United, though.
okay, so but yeah, but we're talking about United. But for the last couple of seasons now, he's played off the right hand side. So
I
let's just say he's gonna play off the left. So he's gonna take Cunha's place. So did Man United spend 60 million for Cunha to be on the bench? Or how's it gonna so already the team harmony is gonna be mad unless he's gonna bench Jokeres. But then are they gonna spend 60, 70 million to so is this is their what they should be doing now is they should be buying players that go directly into the first team. That's what I think they should be doing. Once
Mhm.
you buy the player, I expect him to be in the starting lineup because last year's starting lineup was shocking in terms of the way they played and the way they performed. This season, you've addressed Mbuemo, you've addressed Cunha. These men performed pretty decently in the Premier League. They excelled for their teams. Cool, we've signed them. Now, if you go and sign a striker, I expect a guy who's played very well for the previous club he played for, and then he's going to come and show us what we bought him for. The same thing if we go and sign a midfielder. I don't want no midfielder that's injury prone or brother that never really had a decent season ever in his life before. No, I want a certified killer, somebody who's physically imposing, somebody who can pass the ball and take it off the centre backs, somebody who's going to level up this team. Because as everybody in the chat knows, our first 10 games is ridiculous. Yeah. You could, in theory, we could lose 6 or 7 of them games. Yeah. Now the reason why I say that, remember Amarin's run when he came last season. There
Mhm.
was even a period where he didn't win a game for like 2 to 3 months. Yeah. So them first 10 games there is diabolical. He probably saw that and wanted to pull out his hair. Yeah, so we need to set this manager up in a way where he can thrive because I think he needs way more than what he's got. Can the club spend more than what they've given him? The only time will tell.
True, but I mean, saying that Man United have the best FFP ratio right now of all the clubs, so who but us could spend should be able to spend it freely, you know?
But,
I
but
mean,
then also, just to touch on that, we got the best FFP. That also shows me that this club is ready to lie to us as well and tell us that we're going bankrupt and the lights would have been switched off by Christmas and all of this other thing, but then at the same time have the best FFP, one of the best FFPs in the league. So as far as I'm concerned, they've got money there. They're hiding the money. Yeah. If they don't sign the players that we need signing, then I think we need to do a bit more than protest. That's what I think.
man, them, I know y'all mightn't see it. My madhouse understand it. He's seeing why I want Greenwood back. And a lot of fans not understanding this. Let me sign him Bremo. Yeah. When it's AFCON in January, there's no Embremo, there's no Nana, there's no Mazarawi, yeah, there's no Ahmad, Diallo. The entire right side gone. So you could imagine that them three brothers is the starting players on the right side. It gone. That whole flank dead. Come off gone. There's no one. Because they all the starters are gone. But if you have the likes of a Greenwood, that right side will be alive. It will not die. You know what I mean? They could bring on Dallo. He knows him. They will link up well. Yeah. Dallo could play right wing back. I mean, in that situation, you would toss our brother there at wing back if we had Diomade. You know what I mean? But the key is that we need a centre back. We cannot allow Crystal Palace to sign Diomade for £40 million. That is mad. From the moment I hear that, if I was the Man United DOF, I was signing Diomade first. That brother is a generational centre back, bro. Generational. Like Mason Greenwood is generational. Yeah. And them bring in a wing back last season who better off the right to play the left. Who knows? They maybe they go and fast track Diego Leone. Maybe we might see a lot more of Harry Amas this season. You know, I would have
How much?
liked
How much have we spent so far
40 mil.
in
Well, when
total?
we sign him, Bremer, it will be 40 mil. Because the down payment is 20 mil.
Okay. But in terms of money, what's it like? 120, like in total payment, like 120 something?
123 million pounds so far. And that's just
Okay.
on signings. If you're talking about total packages, the total package for both players, we have 247 million pounds. That includes all their wages and all the money to the clubs.
Right. So I take it at this point in time now that we've done them two, I'm assuming we need to just get rid of the people that we need to get rid of in order to now start bringing in guys. I've heard a lot of rumors that Estupinian doesn't want to be at Brighton no more because he's heard of Man United's interest. So if we're able to sign this guy, then I'll be thinking, and we sign another midfielder as well as Gyokeres.
We could put Doggo in for a trade and lessen the fee for Estupinian.
I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I don't think that will
Because
happen, but I'm not mad at that.
because nobody can tell me Doggo better than Diego Dallo at right back. Nobody. I'm not even beginning to give men the examples of why Dallo is better than this brother at the right side. Yeah. So I would even go so far and say even Antony is a better right wing back than this brother. But man, them go vex with me. He's a youth. He come to develop. You know, they want to sack off Hoyland, who I would say this season, both of them equally had a similar shit season together as a pair. And I'm not saying sack off Dogway. I just mad at him because I felt like I've seen some caliber performances once or twice from him. And I don't understand why I didn't get more of those performances. You know, it had this one game where the man, everything he do, man, was fouling him. He win a penalty, all kind of thing. Yeah? Don't know. Don't know. Yeah, but the last couple of games of the season has not impressed me in the slightest from this guy. Yeah, in fact, I feel like he ruined the impression that he gave me with those performances I saw before. But like I said, guys, everyone needs time. The club needs time. The manager needs time. The players and their new teammates will need time. I told you, man, about Xerxes, and I guess I was right. I could say it now. I haven't said it all along, but I say it now. When I told everyone, give that brother 5 months and he will be one of the best players in the team, everyone laughed at me. Yeah, during that stream, men them laughed at me. And now who's laughing now? You know, I'm actually worried that Zirkzee might bench Cunha. That's just me. Yeah, because I think that both of them are quite similar stylistically. Of course, Cunha has more goals and seems to be the more clinical player. But in my honest opinion, if you move away the goals and you look at the two players play, I mean, in my honest opinion, Xerxes looks better carrying the ball forward. I mean, he leaves so many defenders in his wake, flipping, falling on the ass, turning. You know, he makes it look good. So it's going to be interesting. Of course, we're going to have lots of competition. This is one thing I'm happy about because, even if I am thinking Xerxes could bench Cunha, what if Cunha and Xerxes fight it out and Cunha benching Xerxes, but Xerxes still coming on and performing well? These are things that makes United win. And like I say, everyone, whether I like a player or not, if they're winning for United, I cheering for the goals they're scoring, okay? I am cheering probably louder than most. So, I'm not a hypocrite, but as a Man U fan, I love Man United. I might not love all the players, but I love Man United. So, and I can be honest about that. Another thing I would say to fans is I don't give a flying fuck who starts in the starting 11. I be so real. Because if we have a 23-man squad, everybody's supposed to start at some time and win games for Man United sometime. As long as brothers do their job, I don't care how much they get paid. I don't care if they go and piss off the Eiffel Tower. I don't care. All I care about is Man United lifting trophies, fellas. I'm sorry. I am an old school fan. I don't really read into people. I don't need to control a player's private life, a player's life in general. I don't expect them to do things in a perfect way every single time. You know, but what I do expect them to do when they go on that pitch is to deliver a 7.5 to 8.9 out of 10 week in, week out. Because that's what I grew up with Man United players doing. I spent my entire childhood watching Man United destroy teams and destroy their pride because some teams will be leading 2-1, 2-0, 3-1. And it hit the 87th minute, and United will score 2 to 4 goals. It was written in the stars, you know? So I would say this, folks. If you remember that United, like I remember that United, you also remember that Sir Alex Ferguson said, if you can't support us in our time of need when we're down, how can you truly support us when we are winning everything? Yeah, we are Man United. And at the end of the day, we might be down, but we are never out. And we will be back. Trust me, we will. We set ourselves back, in my honest opinion, 2 seasons. Maybe we could have had a different finish had we not, had we been now bringing Amorim into the club. But it is what it is. It's where we are. It's what has transpired, and we cannot change it. We could only move forward from it. So let's charge forward. Let's charge ahead, supporting the team, supporting Manchester United, and let's see how far these new decisions can take us in the next season. Guys, this has been our presentation to you tonight. Fixtures and favorites. Of course, we talked about some favorite players. We talked about the fixtures. You got your bonus news content. And of course, we will be back tomorrow with more. And guys, don't forget, please smash the like, subscribe. I don't ask you guys to smash the like every 5 minutes because I'm just happy you guys are joining us. It's my pleasure to be here. I know Bali Tech enjoys coming on and talking with you guys as well. And I'd like to big up to each and everyone for joining us today. Whether you're in the chat or you're just watching in the background, don't forget to share it around and smash a like because I'm pretty sure you didn't get this type of content anywhere else. Big up to you, a fan. Have a wonderful night. Bali, my brethren, always. You know what it is. Big up to each and everyone.